Welcome to Networks Professionals.
You know that feeling when you tell your IT department the network is slow, and you just wonder what kind of secret, complicated world you've just kicked into gear? Well, every profession has its own language, its own code. But today, we're going to crack the code on one of the most vital and mysterious of the modern era, the secret language of IT. It all starts with this one simple phrase. To you, it's just a statement of fact, right? But to an IT professional, this is probably one of the most common, vague, and, let's be honest, dreaded complaints they can get. It's basically the starting pistol for a deep, deep dive into the great unknown.
So what actually happens after you file that help ticket? What comes next is this whole hidden world of troubleshooting rituals and diagnostic slang, a secret vocabulary they use to make sense of all that digital chaos. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back that curtain and translate what's really being said.
Okay, Section 1, the first response playbook. Before any engineer starts tracing a single cable, they run through a standard playbook, a set of classic first steps designed to solve the problem as quickly as possible. It's a ritual you're probably familiar with. First, the ticket gets acknowledged. You get that little digital, "Yep, I'm on it." Then comes that classic, almost mandatory question. And finally, there's a gentle check to see if it might be, something simple on your end. And there it is, the phrase so famous it became a sitcom punchline. But look, this isn't just a way to buy time. Rebooting a device actually clears out all the temporary glitches and weirdness in its memory. It's the ultimate cliché for one very good reason. It works an absolutely astonishing amount of the time. Now let's say the reboot fails, and the engineer digs around and finds the answer on page 1 of the help guide. Well, this is what you might hear muttered under their breath. RTFM is basically the exasperated sigh of the entire IT world. It's a quiet plea for users to maybe just do a little homework first. Section 2, the usual suspects. So when the reboot fails and the manual is no help, that's when the real investigation begins. It's time to start looking for the common, underlying culprits that often hide behind complex issues. You will hear this phrase constantly in IT departments. It's kind of half joke, half deadly serious diagnosis. Because when a network problem seems completely baffling and makes no sense, there's a really, really high chance it all comes back to DNS, the system that acts as the internet's phone book. This brings us to the two main paths an investigation can take. Is it a layer 1 issue, meaning something physical is just broken or unplugged, a bad cable, a loose connection? Or is it a logical issue, like that DNS problem, where the network's phone book is just failing to translate a website's name into its actual address? You gotta check both.
So to figure out what's even going on, an engineer might run what's called a ping sweep. Think of it like shouting Marco in a swimming pool and just listening for all the polos. It's a really fast way to send out a signal and see which devices on the network are actually alive and kicking.
All right, Section 3, digital chaos. Sometimes the problem isn't simple. It's just messy, unpredictable, and chaotic. And for that, IT has developed a really colorful vocabulary to describe all the different ways a network can misbehave. First up, flapping. This is when a connection just refuses to stay stable. It's on, it's off. It's on again, it's off again. It's like a flickering light bulb, and it creates this massive instability that is incredibly frustrating to track down. Then you've got hairpinning, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. Data comes into the network, hits a router or a firewall, and then immediately gets sent right back out the exact same way it came in. It's like taking a U-turn on the data highway, and it can cause some major slowdowns. Now, this isn't a blackout where everything is just completely off. A brownout is almost worse. The network is technically up and running, but the performance is so awful it's practically unusable. It's that maddening state of being connected, but not being able to actually do anything. And hey, sometimes the problem is literally just staring you in the face. Cable spaghetti. It's that visual, often nightmarish mess of tangled cables you find behind a server rack. It's a physical disaster that makes finding one single bad wire almost impossible. A true layer 1 nightmare.
Okay, this one is a really tricky glitch to find, a race condition. This happens when two different processes are literally racing to finish first, and the whole system stability depends on the right one winning. If they finish in the wrong order, you get these bizarre errors that are incredibly hard to reproduce and fix.
All right, Section 4, the human side of IT. Because, the secret language of IT isn't just about technology.
It's also about the people, the processes, and the culture. So let's look at some terms that describe the human element of the job.
Yeah, IT culture has its own lingo for different work styles and common issues. For example, a CLI jockey is someone who really prefers using the old-school command line instead of fancy new interfaces. Shadow IT is what happens when employees start using unauthorized software, which creates all kinds of security risks. And some problem-solving methods get their own quirky names too.
Rubber ducky debugging. I know, it sounds silly, but the psychology behind it is actually pretty solid. The simple act of forcing yourself to explain a complex problem, line by line, out loud, to something that can't talk back, like a rubber duck, often forces you to spot the flaw in your own logic. You end up finding the solution all by yourself. Oh boy, scope creep. This is the silent killer of so many projects. It always starts with one tiny request, right? Hey, while you're at it, can you just add this one little feature? Before you know it, the project has completely ballooned way beyond its original plan, its budget, and its timeline. It is a constant battle in the IT world.
And finally, there's the break-fix model. This is more of a management philosophy. Don't fix anything until it's already broken. It's a totally reactive approach that usually leads to a lot more emergencies and downtime, as opposed to, proactively maintaining systems to prevent them from failing in the first place.
So there you have it. From the network is slow all the way to scope creep, this secret language is how IT professionals make sense of a really complex digital world. Every single job out there develops its own insider terms, its own private code to manage its own unique challenges. And that kind of makes you wonder, what's the secret jargon in your profession?
Thanks for watching.